Hi there! Today I'm gonna walk you through how I paint a watercolor night scene. I'm gonna share some of my favorite tips and techniques. Here's what you'll need. Watercolor paper, 1-inch tape for clean borders. Watercolors, you can use either student grade watercolors or professional paints if you're more advanced. A mix of flat and round brushes, a container for water, a towel or paper towels. This is optional but super handy. A spray bottle to keep your paints moist, and some pre-cut test strips to try out your mixes. Alright, my first tip is instead of using something like this, try using something like this for mixing. You'll see why in just a bit. My next tip is instead of using something like this as a reference, try using something like this with one clear defined light source. It really helps create mood and contrast. Tip number 3 is color tests. Pick a portion of the scene that you want to practice before actually starting your painting. This is where you're going to see what works and what doesn't, which colors you want to use, and which ones you want to avoid, how much water you should use, what mistakes to avoid. It's also a great warm-up. Just play around with your palette. This practice helped me pay extra attention to this area because colors can get muddy really fast if you don't wait for the paint to dry in between layers. These little studies helped me realize I wanted a more neutral palette and that I wanted to avoid using reds altogether. I played around with browns and greens, and I also toned down the blue. Here's a test strip where I was seeing just which colors look better. And then I also made little notes of the colors that I mixed so that I can remember later. Okay, tip number 4 is mix more paint than you think you'll need. This is why a large palette is convenient, it saves time and keeps your washes consistent. Alright, let's jump in. Start with your lightest values. We're thinking about light here. Pay attention to where the warm glow for the lamp hits. I'm starting with a wash of yellow ochre and raw umber in the lit areas. This is just a mapping out larger shapes and values. It's all about keeping things loose at this stage. I'm adding a touch of cayenne lemon to where the branches meet the lamp to give that lit effect. Now that we've laid in the midtones, we're ready to push those darks. Especially in the trees and deeper shadows in the foreground and background. Keep thinking in terms of value and trust the process. Tip number 6 is let areas dry before layering. You'll notice I'm shifting around the paper. That's because I'm letting damp areas dry before going back in. It helps prevent overworking or mudding your layers. My next tip is use glazing to add depth. Here, I'm just glazing over some of the houses and deepening the sky. Glazing is such a great way to build up rich, transparent layers without losing luminosity. Now it's time to really push that foreground. I've mixed in more ivory black and started adding definition to the cars and darker shapes in the front. These final touches really help ground the whole scene. And here's the finished painting. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this inspired you to try painting your own night scene. See you next time!